The following is a special presentation of TNN Motorsports. Today, the American Speed Association bumps and grinds its way into 1999. It's purebred short-track stock car racing with the kind of fender-crunching, tire-bumping action you've come to expect from ASA. So stop off and take a quick pit stop with us. Sit back and cool your heels. And come take a spin with the ASA. A new season is about to take flight. Welcome to DeSoto Speedway in Bradenton, Florida for the Jani-King Commercial Cleaning Services 300 presented today by Grease Lightning live on TNN Motorsports. Hello again, everybody. I'm Rick Benjamin. Great to have you with us on this beautiful sunny Palm Sunday afternoon. We've got a terrific season of ASA stock car racing coming your way live here on TNN this year. Ready to bring you the season opener, 300 laps of tough competition today. Want to introduce you to one of my broadcast partners up in the booth. Jim Trado is back with us this year. Jim, a great 1998 season. What can we expect today and throughout 1999?
If last year, Rick, was any indication, it came down to the closest finish of the year right here at DeSoto Speedway. Gary St. Amant had the lead going into the final turn of the final lap. Scott Hansen goes underneath him for the win. Gary didn't win the race, but he certainly won the championship. He is back to defend his title. First time since 1992 that a series champion has come back to defend the crown. Gary, however, has many contenders to worry about, including a driver named Mike Miller. The Jani-King Pontiac driver has won the last two season openers, third in points 1 year ago. Mike Garvey paired up with the Tecumseh team. Very excited to run that Chevrolet for the Lefebvre Racing Team, return them to glory. Rick Beebe out of Kansas now has his team intact. 15 minutes from home, he's excited about his championship hopes. Looking down the list, we also have a young driver by the name of Jimmy Johnson. Back this year after a rookie run a year ago, fourth in points, very promising driver with Pennzoil as his backer.
Jimmy Johnson, a guy of whom much is expected. He'll line up on the outside pole here today at DeSoto Speedway. Let me introduce you to the third member of our upstairs crew on these ASA broadcasts. Three-time series champion, NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series regular Butch Miller. Butch, welcome. It's great to have you with us this season. What is ASA racing all about to the drivers?
Well, it's where most everybody that's in NASCAR these days seems to have gotten their start. It's where I got my start, and when I say start, it's a great series. It's a place you can finish your career also, and I would come back here in a minute. Great series.
Wonderful competition, of course, the norm. These cars weigh 2,900 pounds. They run on bias ply tires, V6 engines for the final time this year, and tough competition.
Really tough competition, and you know, I think they've done a couple things to make the show very interesting. They've got what they call a competition yellow, whereas if somebody's stinking up the show and running away and it's been a long green, somewhere 75 to 100 laps, they'll throw a yellow, tighten the field up, gets more interesting for the TV fans and the race fans at the racetrack. Also, they make sure that the last 5 laps are run under the green, and I think that's a really good rule, and nobody wants to see a yellow finish usually.
Always leads to tight competition, and we expect much of that to happen here this afternoon. The fourth member of our team will be patrolling pit road for us today and all season long. Brian Drebber standing by live with the guy who has won the last 2 season openers for ASA. Brian?
And Mike Miller, there's probably nobody more eager to get this race started because he always starts the season well. The driver of the 18 car can do something that no one's ever done before. Mike, win 3 season openers. Are you in this car up to the task?
Yeah, Brian, the Wagner-powered Jani-King Pontiac is ready. It's going to be kind of an endurance thing. It's going to be kind of brutal. Obviously, everybody's been talking about the racetrack breaking up, and if we're fortunate to be around at lap 250, I think it'll be really a lot of fun.
How'd you let all these guys get in front of you before you get started here? To lull them into a false sense of security?
You bet. And of course, they've all got their TV monitors in now, and go, oh, those guys are so fast, blah, blah. No, not true. We had a little problem in qualifying yesterday, and this field is so competitive that here I am in 12th.
Well, good luck to you, Mike. We'll be looking forward to seeing it. Now, I only have one more job to do, and that's get them started. But to help me do that, Bob Alderman, the franchise owner of Jani-King Commercial Services in the Tampa Bay area, he gets the job. Bob, it's all yours.
All right, I'm proud to be here today to make this announcement, and I hope we come through with the winner today. So we're going to give it our best shot. Gentlemen, Start your engines.
Well, the engines are fired up. They're getting ready to go. That's what we've all been waiting for. The Jani-King 250 is coming at you.
Good afternoon. I'm Bill Fitzgerald from AC-Delco. We'd like to welcome you to the 1999 inaugural event for the ASA AC-Delco Challenge Series. We at AC-Delco are proud to be associated the last 10 years with the ASA Racing Series and their 32 years of successful racing. We'd like to thank you and welcome you to sit back and enjoy the race today on TNN Motorsports.
And we know you will do just that. Your starting grid for the Jani-King 300 being brought to you today by Greased Lightning. When speed counts, choose Greased Lightning multi-purpose cleaner. Let's show you how the 28 cars will line up. Jack Landis putting the Noah Yoder Ford on the pole at 91.321 miles an hour alongside Jimmy Johnson from El Cajon, California, the Pennzoil 44. Second row, Rick Beebe in the Meyer Stores 23, and Chad Wood, a surprisingly good qualifying run from the Madison, Wisconsin rookie. That's the Peel Motorsports Chevrolet. Third row, Tim Souter of the Racing Souter family from DeSoto, Wisconsin, the Build-A-Mold number 9, and Greg Usher, another rookie out of Grand Rapids, Michigan, the Port City Racing number 45. Your fourth row, Eddie Hoffman from Westchester, Illinois, the Structural Transport 5, the Don Finetti Ford, and alongside the series champion Gary St. Amant in the Wynn Chevrolet, the number 7. Row 5, Derek Gilchrist out of Raleigh, North Carolina. That's the Ken Schrader Racing Chevrolet for Greased Lightning. And Harold Fair, the veteran from Romulus, Michigan, the Pontiac, is car number 81. Row 6, Rick Miller from El Cajon, California, the other Herzog machine. That's the 22. We'll talk more about that great rookie. And Mike Miller from Woodstock, Georgia, now the Jani-King 18. Miller's been around, I think, since they first put air in tires. He's won 2 straight season openers. Let's move back to the 7th row. Mike Garvey from Muskegon, Michigan, the Tecumseh number 1, the Lefevre Racing car, and Brandon Sperling from Mooresville, North Carolina, in the McDonald's drive-through number 40. Your 8th row, Tristan Dupuis from Lansing, Michigan, a rookie in car number 11, the Go-Go Auto Parts Chevrolet, and Pierre Goulet from Mason, Michigan, in the Coleman Racing Products 43. Row 9 is Dave Sensiba in car number 6 from Middleville, Michigan, the Prestige Truck Accessories Pontiac, and Alec Pincino from Windsor, Ontario, in car number 93, the Build-A-Mold car. He's the team owner. 10th row, David Doran from Cincinnati, the Doran Enterprises Pontiac, the 77. And Danny Doler, the Checkers and Rallies car, the number 21. He's from Edison, New Jersey, another rookie. Your 11th row, Greg Stewart from Four Oaks, North Carolina, the Keenan Lumber Company Pontiac, and David Onspaw from Sturgis, Michigan, the Poor Boy Racing Chevrolet, the 37. Row 12, Doug Gregg from Indianapolis, the McGinley Vacation number 53. He's a rookie. And the 00, the U.S. pipe car of Andy Ponstein, that is a Chevrolet. 13th row, Russ Tuttle from Indianapolis, the Coca-Cola King Richard Cigars Chevrolet, the 16, and alongside the CEO of Greased Lightning, the 03, All-Pro Series veteran Ken Alexander. Final row, Alan Pincino, a rookie from Windsor, Ontario, in car number 39. Shotgun on the field from Seville, Ohio, Don Thomas in the 04. That is the Top Gun Racing Chevrolet. Ready to go 300 laps today to kick off the 1999 ASA season. And we're going to show you what this racetrack looks like. It is 3/8 of a mile, pretty steeply banked. Butch Miller, 12 degrees in the corners, 6 degrees in the straightaways, 60 feet wide. How many grooves will we see run on here tonight?
You should see it. It's a good 2-groove racetrack. And what's neat about it is you have a little push in the car. There's a flat right at the bottom, and you put the left front down on that flat, and you can make them turn even with the push in it.
Jim ready to go for the first time in 1999. Lots of excitement. What do you think we'll see here?
I'm excited to be in the booth with you, Rick Benjamin, and Butch Miller, a guy I watched growing up and actually helped you, Butch, win a race. We'll talk more about that as season goes on.
Making us feel both old, huh? $153,000 on the line for these 28 drivers today. We'll go 300 laps here, and Jack Landis, as we mentioned, the pole sitter in the Noah Yoder Ford. Second consecutive race pole for him. He wrapped up the 98 season at Southern National Speedway on the pole. We've got some in-car views for you today. Ken Alexander goes from 26th in the 03 car. He's a driver it'll be interesting to watch his progress today. We watched him in All-Pro the last couple of seasons. He's got some skill behind the wheel, and we'll see what he does back there in that Greased Lightning machine today. Also today, we'll be taking a ride in the 18 of Mike Miller, the Jani-King machine. Got a bumper cam there for you, and Mike lines up in the 12th spot today. And we've got some looks for you from Jimmy Johnson's Pennzoil Chevrolet, starting on the outside of the front row. Which is Jimmy Johnson as good as everybody says he is?
I think so. You know, it's a new guy here, but it's a tough series, so he's got to be real good.
On the main straightaway, as we watch Dan Spence on the flag stand, Rick Beebe has brought his car to a halt. Eddie Hoffman as well, as they have a final word with their crews on the main straightaway. Now Beebe coming back up to speed. He is qualified in the 3rd spot. As we watch the field snake their cars back and forth, and Jimmy Johnson has stopped up on the backstretch as well. So first race of the season, maybe some things not quite settled down for these teams.
The drivers have been told that if they do want to adjust the steering wheel, they can actually do that on the straightaway. So I think that's what some of these guys will do. Then they'll get back into line where they had qualified.
And we're told that there might have been a wrench on the front straightaway as well. We'll show you as we go on this afternoon. ASA competition, and you do have hot pit stops, of course. And the situation here, very, very interesting. They use the figure-8 racetrack here at DeSoto Speedway to pit these cars. This ought to be like Times Square at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, guys.
I had to draw in my hand to show Butch how exactly they're going to come in and come out. But ultimately, what happened a year ago is the fast guys got in the pits first. There's 2 loops down there. The fast guys got in first, got out first. But there will be simultaneous pit stops for this race, regardless of what lap down or what if you're on lead lap status.
Like a couple of box end wrenches ended up off of somebody's car and on the surface, of the ASA officials right there to scoop those up and bring them in. We're about ready to get down to it. And Spence shows him a lap to go until we go green. Field's settling down. There we get a look back from the rear bumper cam of Jimmy Johnson's car. And if you've never heard of Butch Miller, I find that very hard to believe. There it is. 3 championships, 39 career wins, 222 starts, won 9 one time, one season, including 4 straight. Those 3 championships, a wonderful mark. And now you've moved on, Butch, in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, and I know the ASA Racing has a soft spot in your heart.
Unbelievable. Who is that guy?
Well, that's why you're up here with us this year, and we're pleased to have you along. Field settling down, 28 strong. V6 power under the hoods of these machines, 2 Fords, 26 General Motors machines, a lot of Pontiacs, a lot of Chevrolet Monte Carlos. Pontiac Grand Prix safety car comes down to the inside. We're about ready to go. Great crowd on hand here today at DeSoto Speedway in Bradenton, Florida. We are glad you're with us on TNN Motorsports to begin the 1999 ASA season. The green is out and we're underway. Of Landis will lead lap number 1 in 1999. He's got Beebe and Johnson right with him, side by side for second. Back a little further, Tim Sauter in the 9, and the 2 car of Chad Wood fighting it out for 4th. And Landis starts to put a little distance out of the field as we ride with Jimmy Johnson to the outside, getting by Beebe for 2nd spot. I'm surprised they can make the outside work earlier, Butch.
It's looking good so far, you know, and they're not giving up a thing on the outside.
Landis and Johnson in your battle for 3rd. The 2 of Chad Wood, that's the white car, and Rick Beebe in the Meyer machine, the 23. And Wood goes alongside and makes the pass. Jack Landis out in front of the 07, looking for his first career victory. Sauter, Eddie Hoffman moving into 6th spot in the 5, and then you've got the 45 car of Greg Usher. He's a rookie. Jimmy Johnson about 3 car lengths back as they hit turn 1.
We see Chad Wood on screen, Rick. He actually ran 5 races a year ago, and to keep his rookie status, you can run up to 8 races in any given season or win a race that kicks you out of the eligibility. But what Chad did is he went to work. He's a 2nd-generation driver out of Wisconsin, and in those races he ran Pikes Peak, Milwaukee, Minnesota, so bigger tracks let the legs stretch out a bit.
On board with Mike Miller, the Jani-King 18, 3 wins last season, won the season opener the last 2 years. Mike at the moment riding back in the number 11 position. Get that underneath the front of the car look going down into the corner. Butch, do you use a lot of brakes in a place like DeSoto?
Absolutely. And the slipperier the tires get as they wear down, the more brake you have to use. And you actually need to pull air in off the nose just to make sure the brakes stay cool enough, and at times you still lose the brakes.
Battle here for 5th spot. Hoffman in the black 5 on the outside of Sauter in the blue and white 9, and they're right with Beebe. So that's really a battle for 4th spot. Eddie Hoffman, the former Artco Series champion from the Chicago area, to the outside, gets by Sauter now, makes the move, and he is 5th. Beebe moves to the high side to cut him off there. How important is it to save ground and protect your spot here early in the 300-lap race?
Well, I think that Eddie Hoffman's doing the right thing right now. You need to get out there where you get clean air in your radiator, get clean air to your brakes. But he does need to get in front of those guys, because as long as he's on the outside, he's standing on the brakes. And I see him passing right now.
And a move for the lead. Landis gives up the point to Jimmy Johnson. Johnson picks him off on a slower car. So give the lead to Jimmy Johnson now in the Herzog Chevrolet. That's the Pennzoil 44. We're 5 laps into this one.
With Alan Pinsino slowing, that also pinned in Chad Wood, who lost 3 or 4 spots in the white number 2.
Johnson out in front. Landis now second. And look at Eddie Hoffman, Butch, just like you said. He made the move to the outside, goes to third in car number 5. Beebe now is 4th. Tim Sauter drops back into 5th spot. He's just riding at the moment. So Johnson from the outside pole dropped back early on, but he has now collected the top spot. Second, Hoffman in the 5, taking a look. The 2 Fords running today. Wants to work his way by Landis as they go into 3. Goes to the top side, and he's able to make the move. So Eddie Hoffman quickly into second spot here. He'll go to work down, try to close in on the leader Johnson. Now Beebe moves to the high side as well. Landis doesn't seem to be running as well as we thought he would after qualifying yesterday.
Qualifying yesterday, the guys who went out first happened to be the faster of the bunch. Jack Landis, a track he won the pole at a year ago, is similar to this one in Kenly, North Carolina. So if it's a track 4/10 or smaller, keep an eye on Jack Landis. He qualified well. My guess early on, Rick, is that he's just trying to run this race, be a consistent pace rather than set a blistering pace. I don't think he wants to be the rabbit at this point.
Jimmy Johnson is your leader in the Pennzoil 44 as he moves by the lap 37 of David Anspaugh. Eddie Hoffman in the 5 is second. Landis is third. We'll be right back at DeSoto. Of the Jani-King 300 today is being brought to you by Tecumseh, the power to do things right. And by Grease Lightning, a great multi-purpose cleaner for your indoor and outdoor cleaning. Welcome back to DeSoto Speedway, Bradenton, Florida. The ASA AC-Delco Challenge Series live on TNN Motorsports. You're on board with race leader Jimmy Johnson, but he's got his mirrors full of that 5 car. That is Eddie Hoffman in the Finetti Racing Ford out of the Chicago area. Hoffman has moved quickly through the pack after qualifying 7th. He's come to second behind Johnson, and he wants to get by as quick as he can, Butch.
He does, and you know, I raced with his father, I believe it was. He was great at Ileana. If he does this right in this traffic he's coming up to, he should be able to get by for the lead. I'm looking for that.
Hoffman, 38 years old, veteran competitor. We mentioned he's a former Artco Series champion in the Midwest, now moving up to the national stage. They work by the lap traffic there. The 77 car, David Doran from Cincinnati, Ohio. Johnson in the 44 out in front. We are 29 laps complete of 300. Hoffman just taking his time. You can be plenty patient here in the early going. They're up in the midst of lap traffic now, coming off turn 2. Lapping by David Anspaugh's 37 again, the 16 of Tuttle next in line. Hoffman a little sideways coming off the corner.
What I'm impressed with, guys, is how he's able to control this car. They had one shakedown run on the way here on a short track near home, near the Milwaukee area, and as good as he's running here with limited laps in an ASA car, just his 4th career ASA start, it's pretty neat to watch Eddie Hoffman in the former Bride Record Championship ride for Don Finetti.
Looks like trouble for the 03. Ken Alexander off the pace, and then the 07 of Landis, your pole sitter. Looks like he's cut down a tire. He's coming onto pit road for the first time today. So you get a look at the unusual pit stop arrangements here at DeSoto, using that figure 8 layout as part of pit road here. There's the lead battle, still working lap traffic in 1 and 2. Hoffman takes a look to the inside, can't get it done. Still trying to work their way by the 16 of Tuttle. Let's go down to pit road. Brian Drebber making his way toward the car of Jack Landis. He'll be there in just a second as we watch the leaders haul it down into turn 1. Hoffman still taking a look at the 44 car. Johnson picking his way through traffic. Landis's car on pit road, and let's head downstairs.
Jack Landis, the pole sitter, came in with a cut down right front tire. The crew quickly got it off and back on again with a new one. He's out, and well, it's a tough early break. They're checking the tire over right now, and along with the rest of the crew, clearly there was something wrong with it. All the air went out. That's not good.
So the the 07 back on the racetrack, but he has lost at least a lap. There's a look at the tire that went flat on the right front corner. These Goodyear bias plies that the team's run, it's a spec tire. Makes it pretty interesting. If you remember the bias ply days in NASCAR Winston Cup and Busch Series competition, cars tend to slide a little bit more, and a little more guesswork, I guess you'd say, Butch, in the tire business here.
Absolutely. The tire specialist on these teams is actually more important than it is in any NASCAR race, because air pressure will affect the handling of, drastically affect the handling of these cars on the bias tires versus a radial.
Johnson still out in front of the 44. Hoffman for the moment cooling his heels in second. Johnson will go to the inside of the Tuttle car. That's the Coca-Cola Chevrolet there. We're told that Jack Landis lost 4 laps with that cut down tire on pit road. Tough break indeed. He was your pole sitter today. Ran in the top 3 in the early going as we put almost 40 laps on the board here today. Now, it's not impossible to come back from that much of a deficit in a race like this. All the pit stops that we expect to see throughout the day. 4 laps, though, pretty tough mountain to climb.
Yes, but it's 300 laps, and, you know, I've seen it done before. I've actually done it a time or two myself, so it can be done, and he's got a fast racer. He can do it.
The 07 of Landis back on the racetrack. Here's the 7, Gary St. Amant. Second time here. He was second in this race a year ago. We told you at the top of the broadcast, the 1998 Series champion. St. Amant had this one virtually locked up last May. Slipped going into 3, and Scott Hansen took Ken Schrader's 52 car by him to the victory. St. Amant right now in the 7, up to 5th spot, running very nicely here in the early going. Gary qualified 8th today. We talked to him on race day at 11 o'clock this morning. He wasn't concerned about it at all. Said he liked the race car, thought he would do very well when the green came out, and so far he has been nice and smooth.
And we look to Gary as a veteran in the series, Rick. We didn't mention Bob Seneca. We did not mention Mike Eddy in the Open. For the first time in 391 starts, both of those veterans are watching on their couches. You are at home. Unfortunately, sponsorship shortage really for Mike Eddy and Bob Seneca into retirement now. We may see him on occasion.
Here's a battle for 3rd. Now Hoffman, while we were away from the battle, has slipped back to 3rd behind Rick Beebe. And there's Tim Sauter getting by as well. Rick Beebe's on fire. Look at this. The 23 car has moved to 2nd. Now he's battling Johnson for the lead. They're working on Landis. They're in heavy traffic in 3 and 4. Beebe sneaks by. Johnson slips a little bit. They give Rick Beebe the point for the first time this afternoon in the yellow 23 car. So Beebe with a great drive going here. We have stayed green for almost 50 laps, and Beebe is just on fire. He is out in front here, the 23 car. Johnson to 2nd now in the 44, and Beebe's got a couple of car lengths on him. Boy, Beebe is showing me a lot in traffic here today. Johnson now clears the traffic. Cruz looking on. Pit stops will be coming shortly. We'll be back at DeSoto with more ASA action in a moment. We are back live at DeSoto Speedway in Bradenton, Florida. ASA AC-Delco Challenge Series action, the season opener here on TNN Motorsports. I'm Rick Benjamin with Butch Miller, Jim Trado, Brian Drebber on pit road for us today. There's your leader in the 23, the Meyer Stores Pontiac. Rick Beebe is just really smoking him at the early going. Jimmy Johnson is 2nd in the 44, but look at Dave Sensiba moving up in the 6 car. A little contact there as they come up onto the main straightaway. Johnson on the outside pole led a bunch of laps, but Beebe collected him pretty quickly, and now Beebe has stretched it out. He's almost a full straightaway ahead of Jimmy Johnson. Don't you think that Johnson's having something go away in his car? He wouldn't be happy right now with it?
Well, you know, this is the first time probably since he's been here that he's run this long under the green. So I would say maybe it's loosened up a little bit. Maybe it's pushing a little bit. It's nothing drastic because he's not that far behind. Early in the race, he'll be able to adjust it.
Now, as we look at turn 3, that's part of the area that many of these drivers were concerned about coming into today's event. Gary St. Amant now right behind Jimmy Johnson as they battle it out for 2nd spot. St. Amant quickly to the inside. There's a patch job up on the banking going into turn 3. And if you notice, a lot of the quick cars are trying to drive below that and run the flat part of the racetrack through 3 and 4. I would think that would upset the car going through that corner, Butch.
Well, it doesn't upset it as much as running through that. So it looks like they're trying to run below it. What's going to happen now, I think, is if you go through it or you get above it too fast, you're going to find the wall because there are some marbles up there.
The patch job, apparently a little bit of it coming loose at times in the hot conditions that we've had here this weekend. Temperatures in the middle 70s and bright sunshine. Johnson's car, I think you may be right, looks like it's pushing a little because he can't stay down low. He does kick up higher on the racetrack.
Keep in mind, guys, how quickly he took the point and pulled away. He might have been burning those tires up, trying to get quicker lap times, and that may have cost him at this point.
Rick Beebe is your leader. This the race for second. You're on board with Jimmy Johnson, who is in second in the 44. Right behind him, series champ Gary St. Amant in the 7 car. Working Johnson over to the inside as they come onto the main straightaway. St. Amant's got the low groove. And he will pick up second spot as they roll onto the backstretch to put lap number 59 on the board next time by. I'll show you the gap between St. Amant, who is second, and your leader. Watch the 16 of Tuttle. There's Beebe in the 23 car. Down in turn 3 already. So there is a good bit of distance between the top couple of cars here.
And it's only 1.7 seconds, Rick. But Butch, as you know, on a short track like this, we see more than a straightaway difference. When you build that lead, it's important on a short track. But, you know, it's only 1.7 seconds, but it looks like forever on this kind of racetrack.
It really does, but it's not forever. And, you know, if one slip through the marbles there, that can make up that 1.7 seconds.
Gary St. Amant is second, just having gotten by Jimmy Johnson a moment ago. The leader, Beebe. Timing and scoring showing us that Beebe may be gaining some ground. It's down to about 1.5 seconds now, the lead of Rick Beebe. But as you pointed out, Jim, Beebe probably realizing he's got some clear racetrack. He's got the lead. He can back it down just a hair and try to save those tires. We put 62 laps on the board.
And while St. Amant and Jimmy Johnson were battling for that second position, Beebe was able to pick single file through about 3 or 4 of those lap cars that now Jimmy and Gary have to deal with.
Field coming off of turn 2. The 77 is a lap car behind your leader, Beebe. Show you where everybody is this trip around at DeSoto Speedway.
White cars, Tim Sauter in the 5th position, and another big pack of cars.
And there's Beebe coming around again. Still your race leader. 66 laps are on the board. St. Amant is second. Jimmy Johnson hangs on to third. We mentioned Tim Sauter right in front of him. One of the rookies, Greg Usher, in the white 45 car. He is fourth. We'll show him to you here in a moment as we watch Beebe again. Working his way by Ken Alexander. Alexander, we showed you on pit road earlier. And the Grease Lightning Chevrolet, he is back out. So whatever the problem was not enough to send him behind the wall for good here this afternoon. Take a ride with Ken Alexander here for a moment. He too dropping down low, trying to keep from going another lap down. He is being shown back in 20th position right now, but quite a few laps down to the leader, about 9 laps down to the race leader as Beebe is moving up behind him. Beebe rides right in on him there. Rick Beebe is your leader. Jack Landis in the 07, the pole sitter, trying to get a lap back. Beebe in command with 67 laps on the board at DeSoto. Back to open up the AC-Delco Challenge Series of ASA live on TNN today. I want to remind you, next Sunday, the NASCAR Super Trucks and late models from Nashville Speedway USA on TNN Motorsports. They always put on some wild races. It's next Sunday at 3 Eastern and Pacific, the Nashville Twin 100s, right here on TNN Motorsports. And right here, the ASA AC-Delco Challenge Series season opener. Rick Beebe in the yellow 23 car, the Meyer Stores machine, your leader. But Gary St. Amant in the wins number 7, the late automotive car. You see there, we go on board with 3rd place. Jimmy Johnson. St. Amant had reeled Beebe in, but now he's stuck behind a lap car again. And we've got trouble on the backstretch. The 77 spins. That's David Doran's machine out of Cincinnati. Oh, and we've got trouble also up in turn 3. Harold Fair in the 81 and 2 of the Pinsino cars. Alec and Allen involved up there. So we've got our first caution of the afternoon on lap number 80. And a lot of these teams, I would think, would be welcome to see that right now.
I would think so, Butch. Looking at how the track may be breaking up a bit, these guys, I would guess, want to put fresh rubber on at this point.
Well, they do. And what it looks to me like is the track is coming up there in turn 3, and they have to be single file, and they have to be single file on the apron. If they're not, the guy on the outside is going to spin out, and I believe that's what happened there.
Alan Pinsino and Harold Fair were actually the instigators there, and Alec came in after the fact. But unfortunately for the veteran, Harold Fair returning to the series having problems.
Harold Fair got by far the worst of that skirmish up in turn 3. The 2 Pinsino machines, Allen, the rookie, and the 39, his dad Alec, the team owner, of the 93. And Harold Fair's car pretty thoroughly crunched on both ends. So he brings the 81 around to the attention of his crew. They will jack from the right-hand side. They've got to do some work to pull some of the body work away from the front end and the back end of that car. Looked like the right front corner of the car was locked up when he drove it around. There's the 93 of Alec Pinsino. He's been in this series for a number of years. Front of that car with some sheet metal damage as well. Several other teams on pit road during the caution.
And Alec Pinsino had his career best finish here 1 year ago, 6th place on lead lap, which is a major accomplishment for the businessman out of Ontario.
Your leader, Rick Beebe, on pit road. Go to Brian Drebber.
Rick Beebe's crew has the right side of the Meyer car up, and right around him comes Mike Miller in the number 18. So a lot of the lead lap cars are pitting together. A little bit of confusion here in this X pit on the infield, but they got an opportunity to change tires at a time when they said they wanted to. Beebe's down and out. The Miller crew still working on the 18 car. Just ahead of them, Ricky Johnson's crew goes to work on the 22. So it's real confusion here in the turn 3-4 part of the pit. Miller gets out and around the 22 car, but it was close.
Tell you need to be a road course driver to get back off of pit road here at DeSoto Speedway, not onto the racetrack as we ride with Mike Miller. Gary St. Amant back on the racetrack. Maybe behind him now. Looks like St. Amant came off pit road with the lead, although scoring is showing the 11 of Tristan Dupuis out in front. We suspect that Dupuis did not make a pit stop, at least not yet. As we watch St. Amant and Beebe take a look back and show you how this all started to happen as they came off of turn 2. There's the 77 of Doran spinning. He gets down onto the grass. He's okay. He was not involved in the 3-car mix-up that we had up in turn 3 with the 2 Pinsino machines and then the 81 of Fair.
That may have been a circumstance for the hand waving slowing down, and Dave had to check up because the accident was just ahead in turn 3.
Jimmy Johnson, Tim Sauter will have the restart lead as it appears. Jack Landis right now falling in behind the pace car. Big crowd on hand here at DeSoto Speedway. We're glad you're with us on TNN. Back live at DeSoto Speedway in Bradenton, Florida. Rick Benjamin, Butch Miller, Jim Trado upstairs. Brian Drebber on pit road today on TNN Motorsports for the ASA season opener at DeSoto Speedway, the Jani-King 300. Gary St. Amant, the series champion, who was second here a year ago. The 23 of Rick Beebe, who has been your race leader. Let's head back downstairs. Brian Drebber.
Well, I'm with Alec Pinsino. Alec is sitting in the car patiently while the guys are working pretty frantically on the front end of the car. From where you were sitting, Alec, what was going on?
A couple of cars got spun up there in 3 and 4, and the spotter said to go high. There was still enough room to get by there, but on the marbles, it just went turn.
Lost traction up high. Are you going to be able to get back in?
I think so. Yep. We're open.
Okay, Alec Pinsino, his crew working hard. Harold Fair also caught up in the confusion there, and his car, of course, damaged quite a bit too. We also see a number of other cars coming in to make some changes, and well, it's pretty busy down here on pit road. Certainly that's going to shuffle things up, the first major incident of the race.
Jimmy Johnson will have the restart lead as they sort out the timing and scoring situation. He's got a few donuts on the side of that car here in the early going. Pretty typical of short track racing. We're looking at Harold Fair's 81, which he's got some pretty good sheet metal damage. Will the aerodynamics be a factor for him at all here on this short track?
It's always a factor. It's amazing how much aerodynamics come to part, even on a short track like this. And it will hurt him some. It doesn't look terrible. He's still got the spoiler hanging up there. Probably lose a little bit of front down is what looks like might be the worst.
They've got the track sweeper out here to clean up some of the marbles and so forth that might be down on the racetrack after the situation. We're on board with Mike Miller. We'll show you something that happened while the cars were under caution. Wow, the 00 making contact there with Dave Sensiba's machine. Looked like he might have been snaking the car back and forth and wasn't paying attention.
And Andy Poundstein was the car that tried to mount that back end of that car. He may have been coming back into the pits, but didn't see Sensiba coming down the racetrack.
There's the U.S. Pipe 00 that we were talking about a moment ago. Poundstein from Grand Haven, Michigan. With some right front corner damage now. Jimmy Johnson will have the restart lead. 87 laps are on the board here at DeSoto Speedway. Back live, and the green has just come back out here at DeSoto Speedway. Bradenton, Florida, your leader, Jimmy Johnson in the 44, but Tim Sauter in the 9 has given him everything he can handle right now. Jack Landis in the 07 got one of his laps back, and he's holding things up, but there goes Sauter to the inside, as Landis is pretty quick at the moment, and Sauter grabs the lead for the first time today. We showed you how the other 2 team cars, the 2 Pinsino machines, that got caught up in that wreck that brought out the yellow, but now the 3rd car has taken over for the first time today. Tim Sauter out of Wisconsin in the Moltplatz Chevrolet. He's got Johnson right behind him, and you're on board with Jimmy Johnson. Here's that look we told you about, dropping down to the flat part of the track in 3 and 4 to avoid the patch job that's been done there. And here's Johnson right back now underneath Sauter. Side by side on the back straightaway and give Johnson back the lead. Third time this afternoon he's had the point. They left by the 53 car, and he is just pulling away there from Sauter.
Tim Sauter did get Jimmy on the jump, but maybe Jimmy's car is set up for the longer run. Brand new right side Goodyear Eagles on these cars. Maybe it takes him a few laps, and Sauter had a better restart. And what's amazing about Tim Sauter's deal, he built that car himself in his own garage. Then he went working full-time in Windsor, Ontario, starting March 1 with the Pinsino. So he's very hands-on with this operation.
Take a look back. There's the 40 of Brandon Sperling and the 18 of Mike Miller. This is a battle for 7th spot. Sperling in the drive-through crew. The McDonald's machine has 7th. Miller all over him, trying to take the spot away. Remember, we told you about Miller, the cagey veteran racing out of Georgia these days. He has won the last 2 season openers for ASA.
Butch, it looks like they're almost in the grass in turns 3 and 4.
They're going right down on the flat. They just don't dare go through the part of the asphalt that's being torn up. It makes for exciting passing, because the pass has to be all the way done by the time they get to 3. So they've got from turn 4 to 3 to get it done.
Now, is that better than the driver's seat, Butch, if you're 2 inches off the rear bumper of the guy ahead of you?
I don't know if that's better than the driver's seat, but it's as good as.
Mike Garvey now moving up into contention as well. He is 9th in the 1 car, the Lefebvre Racing Machine. That's the Tecumseh Chevrolet. He's right behind Miller, and there behind Sperling. So you've got 7th, 8th, and 9th on the board right there. 100 laps on the board. We're a third of the way home this afternoon at DeSoto Speedway, Bradenton, Florida. Great to have you with us live on TNN Motorsports. Season opener for the ASA AC-Delco Challenge Series today. Good battle on the racetrack. DeSoto, a very impressive facility here. 3/8 of a mile. As we showed you at the top of the broadcast, 12 degrees banking in the corners, 6 degrees on the straightaways. Sperling gets kicked sideways. Trouble up in 3. Sperling goes around. Everybody else stays straight. Brandon Sperling loses several positions, and we've got caution on the speedway. Sperling gets it pointed in the right direction. He was running along nicely there in 7th spot in front of Miller and Garvey, but coming out of 4, you knew that was going to happen sooner or later, that somebody was going to get a little too eager coming off that spot.
I think what this also provides is an opportunity, Butch, as you know, in ASA, only 2 tires per caution can be changed. It's only been 20 laps for these guys, so they can actually really race with 4 fresh Goodyear Eagles if they indeed pit this time, maybe for left sides.
Yes, it can. But what it also did is it gave Landis an opportunity to get that lap back.
Let's show you what happened here going into 3. There's Miller right behind the 40 of Sperling. He's coming up on Anspaugh's car, and looks like he just got away from him there.
I think you're going to see more and more of that as the race goes on. We need to keep our eye on that corner, because that looks like a good way to pass to me.
Well, Brandon Sperling's car is obviously okay, but he may be coming out of pit road for some fresh rubber. We'll see. Looks like pit road has yet to be opened up as we continue under caution. Caution laps count, as we mentioned back at the top of the broadcast. The last 5 laps in ASA competition have to be green. That can lead to some interesting strategy toward the end of a race, but right now, cautions count. Here comes your leader, Jimmy Johnson, down onto pit road. He will go around the backside of the 4th turn end of the X. As we mentioned, they use the figure 8. There's Eddie Hoffman on the pit road. He was 4th. Saint Amant, series champion, 2nd here a year ago. He's 5th. He comes down on the pit road. They'll go for left side rubber. And let's check in on the leader, Brian Drebber.
Jimmy Johnson comes into the pit. They're going to change left side tires. They do so very quickly. Of course, that's the easy side. He gets back out, no problem. These guys are good at what they do.
2 tires per stop is all you're allowed in ASA competition, but you can use 2 air guns and a jackman, so it's not like you're short of people to pull the pit stop.
No, but I think the exciting part of it is you don't necessarily have to have guys that are in the weight room 7 days a week and working on pit stops, although a number of the teams told me today they've been practicing pit stops all summer, or all winter, excuse me. To get that first stop out of the way, though, Butch, even as a driver, these crew guys are as eager to get their pit stops underway for the season.
They are, and I was watching, and they all look really well, really good, but The big problem I see is the cars are so close to him coming by other cars that it's a really dangerous job. I hope nobody gets hurt.
Very close quarters on the figure 8 course here at DeSoto. It's only a 3/8 mile racetrack, and the figure 8 course pretty tight and narrow. So these teams certainly have their work cut out for them here this afternoon. We've got a beautiful weather day on Palm Sunday afternoon. TNN Motorsports proud to bring you the ASA Series, the season opener. We'll be right back. Our exclusive coverage today of the Jani-King 300 is being brought to you in part by H&R Block. We know you. And by Just for Men. It blends away gray in 5 minutes. Back live, DeSoto Speedway in Bradenton, Florida. Rick Benjamin, Butch Miller, Jim Trado upstairs. Down below, Brian Drever on pit road for us. Green has come back out. 114 laps complete. Your leader in the 9 car. Tim Sauter for the second time this afternoon. Now, just moments ago, really, Jimmy Johnson was able to reel him in and go by for the lead. Johnson just got freight trained when the green came back out. He is all the way back in 8th spot. You're on board with Mike Miller in the Jani-King Pontiac, the 18. He is 6th. And he's tracking down right at the moment the 5 of Eddie Hoffman. Hoffman is 5th. Now, Hoffman has been a contender all afternoon long as well. He's hung right in there after the last round of pit stops. We just had our second caution. Miller trying the outside up in 3 and 4. And that is not the place to be. Able to keep it under control. Didn't lose control of the car there. Taking a look at the back end of the Don Finetti Ford being wheeled by the young, not the youngster, but the young veteran, we'll say. Hoffman is 38 years old, been around quite a while. Making his first full-time venture into ASA this year. You can see the black and yellow rookie stripe on the back corner of the 5 there a moment ago. Mike Miller is about as much of a veteran as you can find in this series. He's been around an awfully long time, took a long hiatus from the sport back a couple of years ago, and he has been very, very strong. Hoffman is 5th. We've got a spin up in 2 as we watch Hoffman down the main straightaway. And it looks as though caution will be on the speedway. The 00 going around once again. That's the car we talked about earlier. Andy Ponstein, Grand Haven, Michigan, the U.S. Pipe Chevrolet, looping it, coming out of the second corner. And almost lost it again there, it looked like, coming out of 4. They've taped that car back together. He's the driver that climbed up on the back end of one of the other machines as we were getting ready to go green several laps back. And get a look at the 93 car. That's the Pinsonneau car, the Alec Pinsonneau machine. He was involved in the big jam up we had in turn 3 and 4. He and his son Alan in the 39, and there's a look at the 81 of Harold Fair, the 3rd car that was caught up in that one about 40 laps ago. So 119 complete. Caution for the 3rd time here this afternoon.
Butch and I nearly lost our breath when Jimmy Johnson went through turn 3. It looked like he was trying, Butch, to make an outside pass, but I think he ended up near the turn 4 wall and almost made contact.
Well, I was watching over there, and it looked like there was almost a second groove coming back, and I think maybe that's what he thought, because he tried it and it didn't work.
This may give an opportunity to Sauter and to Gilchrist, who did not pit that last caution through, and see if Gilchrist, who's running 2nd in his first ASA race, may pit.
Gilchrist drops down low, kind of has that look as though he's going to dive on a pit road. Take a listen to the
77, 3 cars up there.
Radio of Ken Alexander in the 03, and here comes the 52 of Gilchrist and a host of other cars down on the pit road. Dave Sensiba's car badly damaged as well. He comes out to pit road in the 6. Take a look at what happened to Jimmy Johnson as we watch Hoffman and Mike Miller down the back straightaway. Down into 3. There's Gary St. Amant, a little contact there. Hoffman got into the back end of St. Amant. Miller really had to check up hard. And there goes Johnson. That's what you were seeing, Butch.
What do you say when that happens, Butch? Something like yeehaw or oh bleep?
Well, you save your yeehaw for when you get out of the straight and everything's okay again.
Jimmy Johnson riding under caution. Being shown at the moment back in 8th spot. He has spent many laps in the lead. Harold Fair back on the racetrack. Dave Sensiba back on the racetrack. Safety car back out for the 3rd time today. 121 down, 179 to go here this afternoon. 300 laps the distance today here at DeSoto Speedway. Gary St. Amant with a little damage to the headlight cover on the right front corner of that machine. There's your leader, Tim Sauter, snaking the Build-A-Mold Chevrolet back and forth to clean the tires.
Tim had 2 runner-up finishes 1 year ago, including Salem Speedway, a very high-bank, fast racetrack. Looking for his first series win, he has a crew chief by the name of Mike Chaffee, who worked a long time with his brother Jay Sauter in ASA, and with Kevin Sawinski, who won the championship in this series in 1997. So reuniting of sorts with the Sauter family and Mike Chaffee calling the shots on race day.
Tim Sauter with a lot of experience. strong run going here so far. Our next event, ASA AC-Delco Challenge Series Racing, live on TNN Motorsports Saturday night, May the 1st, 10 o'clock Eastern Time. Hope you can stay up late with us. Nashville Speedway, USA. It'll be live here on TNN Motorsports. Butch, Jim, and I will be there along with Ryan Drebber. We're looking forward to heading back to Nashville Speedway, USA. Green and going, lap 125 into the books, 175 left. We look at Tristan Dupuis in the 11 car. The rookie, he is being scored second now. Did not pit on the last cycle. There's the 33 car right behind. The 33 not on the lead lap. That's Greg Stewart back in 13th. There is St. Amant with Hoffman. This battle is for 4th spot. Mike Miller there in 6th. St. Amant is 4th. Hoffman is 5th. Miller in 6th as they come off of 2. Lapping by Jack Landis's machine. Landis back in 16th. He had gotten one of his laps back. He lost 4 early on. Holstetter here today. Cut down a tire very quickly. Had to go to pit road. Lost 4 laps. Got 1 back. Now has lost that 1 lap once again. But not doing badly up in 13th spot. On board with Miller. It is tight when they have to drop down to that low groove there going into 3 and 4. A lot of brake work being done there. Tim Sauter taking advantage of the open racetrack to stretch it out a little bit over Dupuis. The 2 car of Chad Wood riding right behind him. Wood is not on the lead lap. He's back in 15th spot. A couple of laps down. Right now, Sauter's got this thing going his way.
I do believe a guy by the name of Gary St. Amant is making the charge, however, Rick, as he is amongst this pack and already passed Brandon Sperling, who did not pit last time through. So just ahead of these guys, St. Amant's, I think, the guy on the move.
Sperling may be regretting the decision not to pit because he's getting passed now by Hoffman and by Mike Miller, and Mike Garvey's coming up on him in the 1 car. So Sperling deciding to stay out, and it looks like he needs tires. Here comes Jimmy Johnson as well, although he's pushing way up high. Garvey is on the move in the 1. That is a very strong race car.
I was just going to mention his off-road experience came into play there as he's saved it once again. He's a champion in off-road trucks.
Brandon Sperling, and there's Rick Beebe, who led a bunch of laps in the 23 car. He's starting to get it back pointed in the right direction here as we reach the middle 3rd of this one this afternoon. There's Garvey, Landis, the lap car in the 07, Sperling in the 40, back to 7th spot. Let's take a look up ahead. Here's the 11 of Dupuis hanging on to 2nd, but Gary St. Amant says, hey, move over, pal, I'm coming by, and there he goes. The 98 Series champion takes over 2nd spot. Dupuis hanging on in 3rd. Got to look at Tristan Dupuis' resume. He's put together quite a nice record up in the state of Michigan. Local racer just jumping out of the ASA stage this year, but won a ton of features up in Michigan.
A lot of Legends car driving, a lot of late model experience, and Tristan is trying to put together a full season, looking for major sponsorship along with some other teams, but very energetic young man who was very active in seeking us out and telling us all about his career, but certainly a personable young man.
Looks like he's got a lot of ability behind the wheel of that 11 car. There's Hoffman in the 5, Mike Miller in the 18 as they fight for 4th spot. Dupuis is 3rd in the 11. The 33 car in the mix there is back in 13th. A couple of laps down. It's Greg Stewart. Mike Garvey at the moment in the 1, riding 6th, content to sit there. Butch, you're in the middle 3rd of a 300-lap race. Do you want to just ride, keep the car underneath you at this point?
Well, yes, it's not time to really go for the big beating and banging to get to the front. It's not that time yet.
St. Amant dives on a pit road in the 7. We got to look at him from the bumper cam of the Jani-King machine. He may have a tire down. He comes down on the pit road. Crew goes to the left side. They get the jack underneath. Brian Drebber, are you close by?
Indeed I am, Rick. The Gary St. Amant crew has come in with a cut down left rear tire. They have to pick the car up physically in order to get the jack underneath and start working on it. That's what their job is right now. This is a very, very sad turn of events for Gary St. Amant, the defending champion of the AC-Delco Challenge Series. Now they finally have the jack underneath after some very concerted manual labor using the big guy method to get that car in the air.
St. Amant is down and away. Took him a while to take care of that left rear tire, so St. Amant drops off the lead lap.
You know, I was watching Gary, and he was one of the few cars I saw try that 2nd groove in 3 and 4. And with these biased tires, they are subject to punctures easier. And I wonder if he didn't run through little marbles up there and push the marbles through that tire.
Take a look at Eddie Hoffman, who's up in 3rd right now. Tristan Dupuis moves up to 2nd spot in the battle. Mike Garvey, he is on the roll in car number 1. Garvey is up to 4th spot now behind Hoffman.
I was just going to ask Butch if you thought it would be a big difference for Gary St. Amant, only able to change the left rear, not the left front. When you do a left side change, can that affect the stagger with the bi-sply tires?
Sure, but why couldn't he change the left front? Looked to me like he should have changed them both.
They had the rear jack post. You can see under the LA Electric of Jack Landis' car. That's where they put the jack under, and I think they only got to the left rear.
Okay.
Landis in the 07, several laps down, back in 15th spot, trying to make up some ground. Mike Miller there in the Jani-King 18. We're on board with Miller. He is 5th. Garvey is in front of him in 4th. Garvey is actually in front of the 07 car as they work out of 3 and 4. There's the 11 of Dupuis doing a nice job to hang on to that race car in 2nd spot. Hoffman to the 5 is back to 3rd. Garvey in the 1 is 4th. Mike Miller 5th in the 18 car, a little further back. You've got the 07 of Landis, today's pole sitter, in the mix, but as we mentioned, he's several laps down. Your leader continues to be Tim Sauter in the 9, and Sauter takes advantage of this to open up. He's got a big advantage right now, almost 3/4 of a lap on these automobiles that are dicing for 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Not too far from halfway. We're about 4 laps away from the crossed flags here today at DeSoto Speedway, and Dupuis in the 11 really doing a nice job.
Although Eddie Hoffman's a rookie in this series, you can see the front of that Ford Thunderbird banged in a bit. He wants to get by because he's losing track time.
And Hoffman uses that flat part of the racetrack in 3 and 4 to shoulder Dupuis out of the way and take over 2nd. Garvey goes with him to 3rd. Landis goes by as well. Give Mike Miller 4th. So Dupuis gets freight trained. Here comes Sperling. He picks up another spot. And there's the 9 of Tim Sauter. He puts Sensiba another lap down. Sauter is your leader, and as you can see, he is almost a lap to the good. What about Gary St. Amant after that unscheduled stop? He's back in 16th, and he's got his work cut out for him. We're live at DeSoto Speedway in Florida. We'll be right back. Welcome back live to DeSoto Speedway, Bradenton, Florida, the season opener for the ASA AC-Delco Challenge Series live on TNN Motorsports. Trouble up in 3 and 4, the 00 car. Andy Ponstein from Grand Haven, Michigan in the wall. A couple of other cars involved as well. The 77 of David Doran got into the back end of the machine. So we are under caution for the 4th time today. Tim Sauter back on the racetrack. A lot of leaders on pit road. Let's go downstairs. Brian Drebber.
Well, Tim Sauter in the lead car came in to change left side tires, a long overdue stop. They had said that if they did not get a caution quickly, they would change the right sides again and then come back in and change the left. The caution came out soon enough for them to put the other 2 tires on the car. Of course, he's no longer the lead car, but he did get in and out very quickly.
Most everybody in the front group did take advantage of the opportunity to come on pit road and get 2 new tires, as Brian mentioned. Jimmy Johnson coming back on the road, and wow, the 00 Ponstein, he got into the wall very hard. A lot of damage to the right front quarter. Let's show you how it happened. Going down into 3. Ponstein on that flat part transition already around and into the wall.
Yeah, and I think you'll see another car come in here, gets up in the marbles, and can't stop to avoid it.
Ricky Johnson in the 22. There's St. Amant on the 7, and the 03 of Alexander. Everybody brake checking. The 77 of Doran goes high to get around him, but he ran out of racetrack there too. So a couple of cars involved in this latest skirmish. Ponstein's car really took a heavy shot into the wall.
He had some earlier damage.
We'll show it to you from Ken Alexander's view of the 03. Hear that call. The caution's out. Doesn't take much to upset the apple cart, does it?
Okay, all right.
Not much, and it looked like he might have had a little bit too much rear brake in there when he stepped on it and turned him around.
Ponstein's car in on the hook. He comes to the infield, so the track getting cleaned up at the top of turn 4.
Ponstein, the 3rd retiree. Greg Usher already out of the race, as is Don Thomas behind the wall.
Tough break for Usher. I was impressed with how quick he was in the early going. Another rookie contender.
And he's running the equipment that Adam Petty did run a year ago. Leroy Troop is part owner in the team. Port City Racing is the sponsor. He's very excited about the season, trying to put together a full run. But Usher tried to make a race at Milwaukee in an ASA car, has limited ARCA experience, and is one of those Berlin Raceway regulars. Butch, you're all too familiar with that racetrack.
What a great racetrack.
How many championships did you run for there?
I only ran for 1 at Berlin, and we did win it. And we won it. I was driving for Port City Racing at the time. They sold the race car out from underneath me, and I drove another Port City car owned by someone else, finish out the season. Don Rand from way up north in Michigan.
Interesting story, and Butch, I think it's great that you not only raced an ASA since 1975 limited, but 3-time champion, and you're the only champ that's won it in the perimeter style car and in the new style car. 87 and 88,
well,
and then they changed over in 92.
where do you come up with all these facts?
It's in my head. It's in my head.
I don't remember things like that.
He carries a book around with him everywhere, I think. Field still under caution here, and much of the issue this afternoon has been the condition of the track in turns 3 and 4. Let's head downstairs to Brian Dremmer.
Well, fellas, this is a piece of the racetrack. It looks pretty normal until you start feeling it. It's like dry pasta dough. So the track is definitely causing a problem out there, and I think probably the debris that's buried in this soft surface is what's causing so many flat tires. The consensus here on pit road is that there's going to be more of that.
Wow, tough situation indeed. They bring the street sweeper out, the track clean machine, to remove some of that debris. Butch, if you know you're halfway through a race and you know there's some situations on the track like this where the track is coming up, what is your plan for the rest of the day? What are these drivers starting to think about now?
Well, track position, because if you notice there, the 9 car ran away. Well, he ran away because someone was in the front slowing the whole rest of the field down. There were other cars just as fast as the 9, but they couldn't pass. So right now, if someone is out, you might have seen the last pit stops.
Really?
You may have, and you'd be just looking for track position. Whoever's in front now could win the race.
Mike Garvey will have the restart pole. Rick Beebe will start second. Derek Gilchrist, Tim Sauter in the 9, Eddie Hoffman in the 5, Mike Miller, Ricky Johnson, Brandon Sperling, Tristan Dupuis, and Jimmy Johnson, the first 10, all on the lead lap as they work behind the safety car, getting ready to go green again. Put 160 laps on the board here momentarily, so we are into the second half of this one. That would be a long run, 140 laps on a set of tires, but it could be done, and we'll see how these teams play out the strategy as we get down to business here at DeSoto Speedway. Dave Sensiba at the top of the pack right now, although he is several laps down in the 6 car. Being scored 11th. And the green is back out. We're back underway to put lap 160 on the board. Leaders working their way by the damaged Pinsino machine, the 93 car minus its hood. Chad Wood in the 2 car getting by Sensiba. He is 13th, but he's a lap down to Sensiba, so he gets that lap back, but they're both a couple of laps down to the race leaders. Garvey in car number 1 is out in front. The 23 of Beebe is second. You see him right there. The 2 and the 6 are lapped machines. Sensiba wants to get back around the 2 car. Garvey looking for a way by. There's Beebe. Gilchrist in the 52 is third. Gary St. Amant in the 7. Now, he lost several laps earlier. He's 3 laps down. He is in the mix there, but not on the same lap. There is Garvey, 13th in this race 1 year ago. No movement up front. The 2 and the 6 still door to door. Now Sensiba breaks free. That may give the 1 of Garvey an opportunity here. Beebe to the low side. Gilchrist being patient, back in 3rd spot. Which what you were talking about a moment ago, if Garvey can get by the 6, he might be able to stretch it out.
He may be able to, but I don't think Dave is going to let him by that easily. He wants to not lose another lap.
Beautiful afternoon for racing here at DeSoto Speedway in Bradenton, Florida. Florida's west coast, not very far from where the Final Four is being played. The NCAA Men's Basketball Championship game tomorrow night. Lots of folks here. Spring break also in the area. Spring training for baseball and great auto racing here this afternoon. So we've got a great crowd on hand. Garvey takes a look outside of Sensiba. Beebe right there to watch things.
We mentioned track position. I unofficially have Mike Garvey coming in on lap 105. He may go the distance, 200 plus laps, or almost 200 laps on this set of tires. Butch, I would think because it's so slow in 3 and 4, he's able to manage those tires and now go to work.
I'm watching him work the outside, and that hasn't been done for 100 laps, so this is good.
Garvey to the outside, but he's got a challenge. Derek Gilchrist moves right in. Gilchrist had made a move for 2nd spot and now grabs the lead. So young Derek Gilchrist in the Schrader Racing Machine with Grease Lightning sponsorship on the car. Garvey getting freight trained. Here's St. Amant trying to work his way up and get a lap back. Tim Sauter climbing back into the fray. Scores Sauter now in 2nd spot. Eddie Hoffman is 3rd. Garvey gets shuffled back to 4th. And boy, it can change in a heartbeat on a short track.
That's why we love it, Butch. I mean, you know how it is. If you get past in a situation like this, you just have to regroup, I would think, and just try to get back at him one at a time.
Well, like I said, Garvey had that outside working, and he got shuffled 3 high, actually, is what caused him to fall back. I think he can still go out there.
Took a quick onboard look at Mike Miller's machine. He's riding 5th in the Jani-King car, the 18. The event sponsor here this weekend, behind the 5 of Eddie Hoffman, who's doing a great job in the Finetti Ford. I know one guy who is pretty happy down at Texas Motor Speedway right now, and his name is Schrader, and he's sitting inside Andy Petrie's hauler watching us now, I'm sure. And watching his young driver, Derek Gilchrist, lead the field here at DeSoto Speedway in the 52 car. Now, Gilchrist has not been able to get by Sensiba as yet. Remember, Sensiba's a couple of laps down, but as Bush mentioned, he wants to stay there. Gary St. Amant in the 7 car is not on the lead lap either, but he wants to get a lap back. He's running 13th. St. Amant is 3 down to Gilchrist at this point, but trying to make it 2 with a lot of time left in this one. Sensiba gets a little loose off of 4, but Gilchrist can't close the deal.
Well, Gary's going to try the outside. If he can make it work, that's great.
Derek Gilchrist with a very strong season in all-pro competition last year, making the move up to ASA this time around. Jumping into the car that Scotty Hansen wheeled so capably in the last couple of seasons.
It's quite a testament to Ken Schrader, able to pick Gilchrist out of the bunch and say, I want you to drive my race car. I want to bring Robert Hamke into the mix, a chassis expert out of North Carolina.
Hamke and Gilchrist have worked together previously, and they are thrilled to be together in ASA competition. We had 4 leaders so far with 6 lead changes. 4 cars are behind the wall. 24 remain in competition. As we watch the leader, Derek Gilchrist, and Gary St. Amant kicks him sideways coming out of 4. Couldn't get him completely loose.
Gary wants that lap back.
He sure does. That's called knocking on the door. But Gilchrist has kept it slammed shut for the time being. Tim Sauter in the 9 is riding 2nd. Mike Garvey is 3rd. Eddie Hoffman is 4th. Mike Miller 5th at DeSoto Speedway. We'll be right back. Welcome back to DeSoto Speedway in Bradenton, Florida. Rick Benjamin, Jim Trado, Butch Miller upstairs. Brian Weber is down below on pit road for us today. We're live on TNN Motorsports, the 99 season opener for the ASA AC-Delco Championship Challenge Series. Mike Garvey and Mike Miller are fighting it out for 3rd spot. Garvey in the black number 1, Miller in the black 18, and Eddie Hoffman in the 5, all right in there. 3, 4, and 5 on the racetrack. We're on board with Mike Miller, taking a look ahead now at the Tecumseh number 1 of Garvey, who has done a nice job today. Garvey came from 13th starting spot to get to 3rd. They try to work by the much slower car, the 93 Valak Pinsino. Car damaged in a wreck earlier. Most of the front sheet metal gone off that car. Garvey gets by him on the front stretch. Miller follows. They are running 3rd and 4th. Derek Gilchrist is still out in front of the 52. Timmy Sauter is 2nd in the 9. And here comes Mike Miller taking a look to the inside. Can't quite get it done. Hoffman watching things back there in 5th spot. Garvey spent 17 laps out in front of the field today. Gilchrist in the 52 now has allowed St. Amant to get by, so give Gary St. Amant back one of his laps to the leader. I don't think St. Amant is done this afternoon, Butch.
No, he's not. And, you know, you asked me earlier about when it was time to move. Well, it's time for Gary St. Amant to move, and he's going to have to work on getting the 2 more laps back.
If the cautions fall well for him here in the next 120 laps, he might have a shot. We'll see what happens. There is St. Amant in the 7 car. He has scored 13th. Just having passed the race leader, Derek Gilchrist, in the 52. But Gilchrist is comfortably out front. He's got almost a 1.5 seconds on the 2nd place driver, Sauter. About, call it 10 car lengths as they whistle down into turn 3.
I would say he's in a mighty fine classroom as well. With St. Amant allowing to get by, now Gilchrist can follow Gary, pick up his braking points. And Butch, I would think that's invaluable for a driver in his first race in ASA.
It is, and Gary's a great teacher. He's a smooth driver, knows where to put the car at all times. You know, he's a proven champion.
Let's take a look back at Rick Beebe in the 23, the Meyer Stores machine. Beebe led a bunch of laps early. He is back in 7th right now. Ricky Johnson in the 22, the white car, the other Herzog machine, is in 6th. Beebe 7th. The 40 of Sperling, who had problems and had to pit with a cut tire. He stayed on the lead lap, and he is back in 8th. So he has done a nice job today. They shuffle by the Coca-Cola machine, Russ Tuck. Johnson has gained 5 spots since the start. The great motocross and stadium truck driver doing a nice job in his ASA debut.
Speaking of resumes, his is about 3 pages long. The accomplishments he's had. He started riding motorcycles at age 9, and I think he was a factory Yamaha rider when he was 16 already.
Real interesting story. He and Jimmy Johnson are teammates at Herzog Motorsports this year, and they're not related, but they know each other very well. They're both from El Cajon, California. Ricky rode a motorcycle that came out of Jimmy Johnson's parents' bike shop back years ago. So they've been racers and friends, competitors for a long time. As we watch BB and Ricky Johnson battle it out for 6th. Coming up on 100 to go. They'll put lap 198 on the board next time around. Gilchrist and Sauter still out in front. This is your battle for 6th. There's Gilchrist moving by Pierre Goulet's 43 car. Gilchrist staying safely down low. He is right there with Gary St. Amant. Show you the distance back to the second place car, the 9 of Tim Sauter. Still about a 1.5 seconds. Dave Sensiba down through the infield. More damage to the 6 car. He got into somebody's automobile or the wall, I guess, a moment ago.
I missed it. I just caught the very end of his spin. It looks like he hit something, but I can't figure out what.
And Sensiba staying in some measure of speed, not willing to come out of pit road, but he may be risking a black flag. He's trailing a lot of sheet metal off the right front corner of that race car.
Testament to the fiberglass bodies, Rick, as they try to keep them together. They actually put Kevlar in the body panels themselves to keep them together, but when you rub it on the racetrack and bounce it along, it will come apart.
We called it sheet metal, but you're right, it is indeed fiberglass. You can see the bungee cord where they bungeed the front end of that car back together the last time he came to pit road. And there's the piece of fender that came off the 6 car. So Dave Sensiba brings out the 5th caution of the afternoon. The leaders, no doubt, will want to go to pit road. We'll come back and cover it for you right after this. Back live at DeSoto Speedway, Bradenton, Florida, on TNN Motorsports, the ASA AC-Delco Challenge Series, the season opening Jani-King 300 today. And we're glad to have you with us. Caution on the Speedway for Dave Sensiba. A lot of the leaders on pit road. We take a look at Mike Miller's car. Some elected not to stop. Jimmy Johnson in the 44, who led early, started second today. Apparently out of brakes, can't get the 44 car, stopped on pit road. He comes around again to try to come to the attention of his crew. They're trying to catch him, and they finally get him reeled in. They want to put some tires on that car. We were noticing how loose that machine was. As they wheel him back, they will dump some fuel as well, it looks like, into the Pennzoil Chevrolet. This is going to cost him a tremendous amount of time.
And he did have a loose race car, and he lost position. They came in what we thought may have been the last pit stop. He came in very late and lost a lot of track position. So even to compound that, without the brakes, he'll have a poor finish.
While we have a moment, want to welcome a guest into our booth from Jani-King Commercial Cleaning Services, David Zillig, who is a regional franchise owner. David, welcome.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
What does ASA and stock car racing mean to a company like Jani-King?
Well, at Jani-King, we've had a challenge. Even though we're celebrating our 30th anniversary, because we're in the commercial cleaning business, most people have not heard of us. Racing has been a great opportunity to get the visibility that we've never had. And we've got recognition now throughout the country.
And you've got a car in the race, and a very strong car, Mike Miller's machine. It's great to see your corporate banner, I'm sure, on a contending car.
Sure is. We've got 7,000 franchisees, about 100 of them here today, and it's been a real rallying cry to be able to support a car. And Mike Miller, we're really excited about it.
Now, you're a franchise owner, and you own several, I guess. Is that right?
That's right. We operate out of 4 markets: Charlotte, Birmingham, Baltimore, and Tampa Bay. So it's a great racing market for us, too.
And you need that corporate jet to get back and forth, I bet.
We sure do. Gotta have it.
Dave Zillig, thank you for joining us today on TNN Motorsports. We wish you well with your involvement with Jani-King and, of course, with ASA AC-Delco Challenge Series automobile racing. A lot of the leaders have been on pit road. Let's head downstairs to Brian Drebber.
Well, I'm standing with the pit crew for the number 18 Jani-King Pontiac. These guys have worked awful hard over the wintertime, and the crew, anchored by father and son, pit crew all-star Carl and Chris Hyland, have been practicing specifically hanging the tires. They're doing it NASCAR style, and they get their tire hanger, gets it in there, spindles it up, and lugs it. They just have to turn the nuts on, and it's gone. They picked up 2 seconds. They came in 4th, went out 1st. That's why.
Great pit stop for the Miller team, and Mike Miller, the cagey veteran who has won the last 2 ASA season openers, bidding for a 3rd in a row here. Less than 100 to go. They put 208 laps on the board here at DeSoto. So when we come back for green flag action, we'll have about 90 remaining this afternoon. Stay with us. season, you have the opportunity to win a Uniden Bearcat scanner along with a 1-year Racers Frequency membership from Racing Electronics. Get your name and address on a postcard to Racing Electronics, P.O. Box 241921. That's in Charlotte, North Carolina, 28224. We'll announce the winner during each ASA telecast here on TNN all year long. Send in your card today. Crew folks using those Racing Electronics radios to keep in touch with their drivers. There you see the spotters gathered here at DeSoto Speedway talking to their drivers as we get ready to saddle up for the last 75 laps of competition here today. 211 of 300 laps complete. And Dan Spence shows them 1 to go till green, so we'll have 88 make it before the checkered flag falls here this afternoon. Just a sprint race from here on out, boys. Mike Miller will have the restart pole. Garvey, Hoffman, Gilchrist, Johnson, and Beebe behind him with Tim Sauter on the lead lap in 7th. Then you have Sperling and Tristan Dupuis in 9th, and those 9 cars are all on the lead lap. St. Amant is 10th, 2 laps down, and Mike Miller leads him out of turn 4. Green flag is back out. We're back underway, and we'll see if Garvey can do anything with Mike Miller here in the last 80, 85, 88 laps. Miller all alone opens up a couple of car lengths through 3 and 4. Hoffman and Gilchrist come together. There's the 5 and the 52. You can see a little bit of black paint now on the right front corner of the 52 car. Gilchrist had led a bunch of laps earlier. There's Ricky Johnson in the 22. He is 6th. There's your leader Miller coming off the 4.
What we're seeing in this pack, Rick, may be the battle for the championship and the rookie standings throughout the year. The Pat Sharp Memorial Rookie of the Year standings, $50,000 to the winner of that. Hoffman's declared a rookie. Gilchrist in 4th as a rookie, as is Ricky Johnson in the 22.
Very strong class of first-year drivers for ASA this year, no doubt about that. There's Rick Beebe and Tim Sauter. They are fighting it out for 5th. Beebe, who led early on today, getting going once again on the Meyer Stores Pontiac. Second time the series is run here. He was 5th in this one a year ago. Not the season opener for ASA last year. The race run in May. Hoffman in the 5 car running 3rd. Gilchrist is 4th. And there's Beebe. There's your leader, the 18 of Miller, and Garvey starting to reel him in now.
We're going to find out how good of friends they are real quick.
Mike Garvey, a driver of a lot of experience, a lot of skill, and with a great race team around him this year.
He started up in the Muskegon area on dirt tracks and was winning them on dirt. He's won on asphalt. He can run a car loose, out of control, and I would say he's going to be as good as anybody up in the marbles.
Mike Miller and Mike Garvey out in front, and here's Garvey in the 1 car closing in. He's come from 13th to 2nd spot. Brian Trevor, what are you seeing where you are?
Well, I was visiting with the Mike Garvey crew, the Tecumseh crew, and the consensus by their count is that they stopped 1 time more than everybody else, so they were kind of out of sequence. Furthermore, on the last run towards the front, they say Mike really used up those tires, and once you get them greasy, they don't come back. Now they think they have a set of tires they can race on against Mike Miller.
Here's a battle for the lead coming out of 4. Garvey tries him on the high side, but can't close it. So Mike Miller now pulls away again because Garvey is hung up on the Dave Sensiba machine. Garvey in the 1 car, Hoffman in the 5. And there it is, as we've seen so many times here today, a lapped car slowing down the rest of the pack. That allows Mike Miller to open up a straightaway's worth of advantage. Garvey finally works his way around, as does Hoffman, the Dave Sensiba car. Beebe comes by as well, and there's Tim Sauter in the blue and white 9 doing the same thing. Garvey in the 1 is 2nd. Hoffman is 3rd. Your leader is this guy, Mike Miller, in the Jani-King Pontiac. 75 to go at DeSoto. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Caution on the speedway. You just saw at the end of it anyway. Tristan Dupuis in the 11 spinning coming out of turn 4. Dave Sensiba coming down to him and almost, well, I guess he did make some contact because this is about the 4th time that poor Sensiba's had to bring that car out of pit road with the front wheels turned in opposite directions today.
If he can be in the wrong place at the right time, he's figured out how to do it. It's one of those days, and I don't know, as I would just maybe think about leaving it right where it is right now.
I've had enough. I'm going home. Dave Sensiba brings the car back down pit road, and well, they've taken a look, and maybe that is what they're going to decide to do, because the front bars are bent seriously. We'll show you how this happened coming out of turn 4. Tristan Dupuis in the 11 machine loses it, just backs it around coming off the 4th corner, gets the brakes on, woes it down, doesn't hit the wall, and here's Sensiba.
Poor old Dave, there he is.
Good thing this is a short track where the speeds are relatively slow, because he was headed right for the driver's door. Managed to get the 6 pretty well stopped before there was light contact there, but enough to do some damage again to the 6 machine. Downstairs to Brian Drebber.
Well, Dave Sensiba's crew has gone to work on the car. They have a new left front spindle and several replacement suspension parts for the left front of the car. That is what's damaged. The right front wheel is pointing straight ahead. The left front wheel is trying to head towards California.
Crew taking a look at things. They have got their work cut out for them. The street sweepers out as well, up in 3 and 4. A lot of fans enjoying the action under sunny skies here in Bradenton, Florida. We'll be back. Our exclusive coverage today of the Jani-King 300 has been brought to you by Tecumseh, the power to do things right. And by Grease Lightning. When speed counts, choose Grease Lightning multi-purpose cleaner. Still under caution here at DeSoto Speedway, Bradenton, Florida. I want to remind you, Friday night at 9 o'clock Eastern and Pacific, a new time for Roller Jam. The Florida Sundogs take on the Nevada Hot Dice, and then the winner goes to the mega match against the reigning leaders of the pack, the New York Enforcers. See who survives Friday night at a new time, 9 Eastern and Pacific, only on TNN. Under caution for a main straightaway spin by Tristan Dupuis, and little contact from Dave Sensiba's machine, and poor Dave Sensiba has spent more time on pit road than the pace car driver, I think, today.
I'm scratching my head because Mike Garvey pitted. He was right on Mike Miller's back bumper. Butch, you and I both looked at each other and said, he's on pit lane.
I don't know.
In this race, can he come back through?
I don't think so. I don't think that was a good move unless he had some kind of a problem.
23 car Rick Beebe will restart second. Garvey was in second spot, but by going on to pit road, he gave up the position. Beebe snaking the car back and forth. I don't think Beebe is done today either. He was strong early, led several laps in the early going during the first 100. But right now, this one in hand of Mike Miller. Miller in the Jani-King Pontiac there, the black and white 18 car. Let's go downstairs. Brian Drebber, what are they saying in Rick Beebe's pitch? Is he ready to challenge?
Well, guys, I'm with Ken Houck, the crew chief, and the question from upstairs is Rick ready to challenge? And you guys are in a good spot to do so.
Well, I tell you what, Rick's doing a fine job today. We got this Meyer Foods fresh cheddar pizza banquet foods car, Pontiac running well. I tell you what, he's got a good head on his shoulder. We got a good car. I tell you what, still 65, 70 laps to go here. I tell you what, we got a good shot at this deal. He's using his head. He's real aggressive today.
2 words keep popping up: track position.
Yeah, the track's really it's a racer's track today, a driver's track. You got to have a real patience. You got to be able to drive the car with your foot in your head. And Rick's got a lot of experience racing on dirt years before, and he's sure doing a good job for us today. We can't say enough for Rick.
Okay, well, good luck to you the rest of the way. About 59 laps to go.
Okay, thanks for that.
And apparently the driver of the 23 car and the 13 car, 2 of the veterans, the guys we talked about at the top of the show, guess what? That's where they are, right up front.
They will have this one in front of them for another 58 laps, 2:42 on the scoreboard, so 58 to go, and the green will be out in a lap or so. Dan Spence looking him over from the flag stand. Mike Miller and Rick Beebe will take him to the green. Eddie Hoffman is third in the 5 car on the restart. Tim Sauter in the 9 will restart in 4th spot. No green this time around either. Don't count out Sauter. Now, he was strong enough to lead a bunch of laps in the early going as well. So I think that car will be heard from before the afternoon is complete here at DeSoto Speedway.
He was very strong, and Butch, you'll remember this guy's name, Vic Getzlaff, who helped out Dick Trickle all those years, is the tire man for Tim Sauter, along with Mike Chaffee, both veterans of this series when it comes to calling the shots on pit lane.
Oh, Victor, we used to call him. He could pick up about 4 tires in each hand. He's a big boy.
Still under caution. Mike Miller will be the restart leader in the Jani-King Pontiac. He has driven a very patient race this afternoon. He's pitted at just the right time. He's been right with the leaders all afternoon. He's worked his way by a car here and a car there. Came from back at 12th starting spot to lead here in the late going. Still under caution.
Mike Miller Miller did lead the last season opener, last season, very late in the going. He only led midpoint for about 40, 45 laps, but he did lead the final 42 to win at Peach State, where this series goes next. It's kind of his home away from home track in Georgia. So if he can keep it together, I think he's the only guy in major motorsports that can put three wins together in the initial start of the series.
And Michael Andretti tried to do it in the kart FedEx Champ Cars a couple of weeks ago and failed. Safety car is in, looking for a restart here on lap 246. There'll be 54 to go, and we are back underway. Miller out in front of the 18. Beebe in the 23 is second. Hoffman in the 5 right there in third. And there's Sauter in the blue and white 9. He is fourth. They dive into 3. Beebe takes a look to the low side. Can't get it going.
Well, it's time to start those moves now, I believe. And I think you're going to see a little bit of it. You're going to see some blue paint on the black car, some black paint on the yellow car, some yellow paint on that front white car.
Gary St. Amant back there in the 7. He is 10th. He is a couple of laps down. After a cut tire early, St. Amant would be right in the thick of this thing, too, if he hadn't had that misfortune befall him earlier. Here's Beebe working over Miller as they come off of 4. Miller able to hang on. With track position being so critical here, there'll be 50 to go this time by. Would you bother to stop if we had another caution, or would you stay put?
Absolutely not. That's why I think Garvey made a mistake. He could have been right there with those guys. And this race isn't going to be over until the last lap, I'm sure.
Garvey is back in 6th, but we can't see him in our picture at the moment here. The leader's out of 4.
He's the 9th car in line from the leader on back, guys, so he did make a call that will pay off if indeed we go green the rest of the way. He's only 3 cars behind the lead lap battle up front.
Miller in the 18, Beebe. There's Hoffman in the 5 and Sauter. St. Amant 5th in line, but not 5th in the race. We've had 6 leaders so far today with 8 lead changes. 53 laps of caution. At the moment, 9 cars on the lead lap. And there are 4 of them right there. Beebe looks up, and Miller goes around. Mike Miller loses it in the 18. Spins up in 3, yellow on the speedway. And Mike Miller just loses a great shot at leading this field home to the checkered flag. He's not done by any means, but a spin there in that situation, spinning the car to get it pointed in the right direction. I would think you'd have to flat spot the tires, Butch.
Well, no, that doesn't flat spot the tires at all, because they're always rolling while they're making all that smoke. So no harm, but that's too bad. Mike was running a great race, and it's late and it's hard to pass right now. I don't know if he can get back up front.
Now, Beebe, some fans apparently think there might have been some contact. I don't see any paint on the front of Beebe's car. I didn't think he got into him.
I see more paint on the back of his car than I do the front. So maybe he was trying to avoid. Mike might have just lost that thing. There's no paint there.
That is the most treacherous part of this racetrack by far. That's where just about all the action has been today. Miller comes blasting up through the pack now for the restart. And it may be that he'll drop in behind the pace car. We'll show it to you again. Looks like he just got away from him.
Well, I'm not sure, as I didn't see daylight underneath Mike's back tires way in that corner. So I think I might have been wrong. It looked like Mike might have stepped on the brakes a little bit hard right here. And you're going to see,
there it is.
See the air under there?
That'd be a capital C on the word contact, guys.
There you go. Good shot that time. Guys downstairs in our truck doing a great job getting those pictures for you. Some contact between the 2 leaders. Miller goes around. Looks like he'll go back to the front of the class for the restart. We'll be back to put this one back under green in a moment. Welcome back live to DeSoto Speedway, Bradenton, Florida. The ASA AC-Delco Challenge Series 1999 opener live on TNN Motorsports. I'm Rick Benjamin. Butch Miller is alongside. Jim Trado upstairs as well with us. And Brian Drebber is on pit road. Coming up on 40 laps to go, and some excitement a moment ago. Butch Miller told us that there was contact between Rick Beebe and Mike Miller. There sure was. Miller went around in turn 3, brought out the yellow. Looked like he was going to go back to the front for the restart, but he came onto pit road a moment ago to take on right side tires. They made a very quick pit stop, just a quick lifting of the car on the right side. Take a quick look at the left front. Both right sides go on the Jani-King Pontiac, and Miller was down and away in probably 17, 18 seconds. So he's back out there, but gave up a lot of track position to do that.
Yeah, he did. He tried to write a new rule right there because he was headed back towards the front, and I think ASA stopped him, put him in the tail.
He will be ninth when they come back to green here, Rick. Ninth, but a long ways back in a single file restart.
And we will have 40 laps to go here. Green flag is out, and Rick Beebe is your restart leader. Beebe takes him down into 1. Eddie Hoffman in the 5 is second. Tim Sauter in the 9 runs third. Derek Gilchrist in the 52 is fourth. And here's the battle for second. Sauter wants the spot. Took a look high, takes a look low, roughs up Hoffman a little bit. Beebe takes advantage and scoots away. Hoffman trying to hang on to the position. Garvey is back up to 5th. We talked about how his stop might have been the wrong thing to do on the previous caution, but he's taken advantage of the fresh rubber to climb back up into contention. This is for second spot. The 9, Tim Sauter, led earlier. He wants second. Hoffman trying to hang on. Sauter tried to get a run down low coming off the 4th corner. Couldn't do it. And they are up on a lapped car now, the 33. Greg Stewart from Four Oaks, North Carolina in the 33 car. Stewart moves up. Leaders go by. And a spin. There goes the 33 around up between 3 and 4. That is where just about everything has happened today. And caution is back on the speedway. So the 33, Stewart points it in the right direction. But look at the damage to the 2 car. Chad Wood, who started well today, qualified 4th, the rookie out of Madison, Wisconsin, was doing a nice job here today. He had dropped back to 27th. He had lost a lot of laps. Back on the racetrack only to get caught up in that spin. So the 2 will have to come back onto pit road. With 34 to go. We'll take a look at it one more time for you. About to lose the hood of that machine. Here they are down into 3. Looked as though the Hoffman machine might have gotten into him a little bit there.
Well, he did, but also I think maybe the 33 being as many laps down, and he maybe should have moved up a little bit and let Hoffman underneath.
It looked like it might have been a tricky situation as well. Gary running high, getting out of the way, but not knowing what he was going to do going in. Stewart had really nowhere to go.
On a 3/8 mile track like this, it's close quarters racing all the time.
It is, and of course going into 3, it's awful narrow over there. So I guess you got to just look at it whichever driver whichever driver you like better. That's the one you favor, I guess.
Chad Wood's machine has not yet gone to pit road. He's about to lose the hood off the car. It's hanging by a hood clip on the right side. The 21 car with some damage as well. 33, Stewart back on the racetrack. Here's Mike Miller now, who had led before that previous spin a few laps back, and then his caution for right side tires, his pit stop for right side tires. Miller will move by Harold Fair's machine. Miller will restart back in 9th. He is on the lead lap, but he's got his work cut out for him.
It looks like he's had some contact also. It looks like the hood's a little bit loose. I noticed the right front fender's back a bit, so he's hit someone.
I want to remind you, next Sunday morning, we will be back with you on Easter Sunday, 11 o'clock Eastern, another edition of Race Day. We'll have highlights from NASCAR Busch Series competition at Nashville Speedway on Saturday. NASCAR Craftsman Trucks. Butch, you'll be out at Evergreen Speedway in Portland next Saturday. We'll have highlights for you Sunday morning.
Well, you know what? I mean, I'm not. Maybe I shouldn't say this.
You've got $100,000.
That's right. I've got it spent.
Are you sure Donna, your wife, doesn't have it spent for you?
Well, that's who has it spent, actually. But
NASCAR, the Craftsman Truck Series, posting a $100,000 bonus if any of the drivers, 6 of them, can win next week, who have run all 100 series races. Next Saturday will be the 100th event in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Butch, Rick Corelli, let's see.
Rutman is in there.
Rutman is in there, along with Sprague and Hornaday, and Mike Bliss would be the 6 drivers.
No, it's only 5.
Only 5?
I won't let Mike do it.
You won't? Okay. All right. He's too tough. Well, Butch, we hope you bring the cash back. Just bring some to us if you get that bucket of money. Here's the 1 car of Mike Garvey. He will restart in 4th spot after that tire situation earlier. We were speculating that he might have pitted too soon or pitted at the wrong time, but this may fall to him with the way things are going here.
He made a pass right before that caution flag on Brandon Sperling on the outside, so it appears that his go button is on full strength, and he's certainly going to give Tim Sauter a challenge here. Sauter didn't have the greatest of restarts last time through, nor did Eddie Hoffman, so we'll see if he can pick up some quick positions.
Chad Wood will bring the 2 car back on the pit road. Safety car stays out. 30 laps to go. That was lap 270 that went on the board. Remember, in ASA competition, the last 5 laps have to be under green. As we climb on board the Pennzoil machine, Jimmy Johnson back in 12th spot. And on board quickly with the Ken Alexander car, the Grease Lightning 03. ASA will be in action twice in the month of April. On April the 10th in Jefferson, Georgia, Peach State Speedway. And then April 24th, one of my favorite tracks, New River Valley up in Radford, Virginia, near Roanoke. May 1st, we're back with you live on TNN Motorsports from Nashville Speedway, USA. A Saturday night show at 10 o'clock Eastern Time. Hope you can join us for the action May the 1st, and hope you can get out and see the ASA AC-Delco Challenge Series when they come to a speedway near you. Pace car is headed in. We should be ready to go green. There'll be 28 laps to go when we come down the front stretch and take the green from Dan Spence. Rick Beebe, the restart leader once again. Eddie Hoffman will go second. Sauter in the 9 is third. And Mike Garvey and Brandon Sperling. Derek Gilchrist will restart 6th. There's the green flag. Beebe from Kansas, the Rocket Man, off and going to turn 1. And look at Sauter, and Sperling can't come up to speed. Sauter to the inside of Hoffman, bidding for second spot. He's going to get him. Here comes Garvey. Garvey's going to shove his way by to take over 3rd. So move Eddie Hoffman back to 4th off the restart. He and Sperling rub fenders as they come off the corner. Beebe is out in front.
You know, it looks like I might have been wrong about the 1 car. You know, I said he shouldn't have pitted.
It's starting to look like it may fall his way here.
Yes.
But he's got 2 machines to get by. Eddie Hoffman's hanging right in there in the 5. Here's Mike Miller trying to come back up through. Gary St. Amant quickly to pit road. Miller with body work flying in the breeze. We'll take a look on board. His right front fender's peeling away. And a spin. Dupuis goes around. Fair goes around. The 77 is involved. The 33 of Stewart up in the 4th corner. Dupuis gets back on the gas. That is the part of the racetrack where the patchwork was done that has given everybody fits. We've got more damaged race cars, and we're back under yellow. 25 to go, and the caution flies once again. The 77 of David Doran refiring. He has spun several times. His car, one of the least damaged of the vehicles that has gone around or gone into the wall here today, but you can see the front of the car bungeed together, and there's the Miller machine. They're going to have to pit, I would think, and take that fender off the car. And for him to have to pit again this late in the race, Butch, and to have to lose that bodywork in the aero situation, I would think that would not be a good sign for him.
No, it's not. It's too bad because he had such a good day going. Looked like he was going to win the race, and now he's going to finish tail end of the lead lap, looks like.
So Mike Miller contemplating a pit stop. We'll show you again what happened up in 3 and 4. Here's Miller with the bodywork flying. Tristan Dupuis in the 11 right behind him. They break for the 3rd corner, and Mike gets underneath the 11 car. That time it sends him spinning.
Well, I guess what goes around comes around or whatever. But I saw Mike going in the corner looking like that just a little bit earlier.
He was on the receiving end of that bunt from Rick Beebe the last time by. Here it is from another angle.
Yeah.
No doubt about it.
I guess it's starting to be a little frustrating day for Mike.
While this was going on, guys, Derek Gilchrist, who was in the top 7, came down pit lane. They wanted to bring him back out to keep lead lap status, but they couldn't refire the car, so he had a problem. Thought he came in under green, so a big blow to the 52 team.
We didn't see it a moment ago, but after the last restart, he didn't come up to speed right away, so there may be a gearbox problem in that car. On pit road, Mike Miller quickly to pit road. Brian Drebber.
He's got the camera.
Yes, he did. We won't be able to see Brian Drebber because our camera ended up upside down on pit road. That's a shot that we will want to save for a while. Mike Miller's crew pulling that bodywork away. And Mike took off quickly to try to stay on the lead lap. And in doing so, our camera cable got snagged. Caught a big one there, boys, I would say. Miller back on the racetrack minus that bodywork. There's your leader, Beebe. And Tim Sauter will move up to 2nd for the restart. Should be about 20 to go when we come back for the green flag. Back green, 18 laps to go to settle it today at DeSoto Speedway in Bradenton, Florida. The ASA AC-Delco Challenge Series, the season opener for 1999. Rick Beebe in the 23 is your leader. Tim Sauter in the 9 is 2nd. Derek Gilchrist in the 52. His day coming a cropper here late in the going. He gets lapped once again. Your lead cars right there, 1, 2, and 3. The 1 car, Mike Garvey, is 3rd. The 5 of Eddie Hoffman is 4th. The 40, Brandon Sperling, rides 5th. As they come up to put lap 284 on the scoreboard. And a spin. Jimmy Johnson goes around in the Pennzoil Chevrolet up in turn 4. Johnson keeps it refired. He's backing up. Traffic trying to get by him. Yellow waving once again. Jimmy gets it spun to the right direction. Nice move.
Just like Joey Chitwood taught him.
Bet he learned that move on a motorcycle years ago.
Joey Chitwood actually operates out of a racetrack not too far from here in St. Petersburg, so maybe he took some tips and spent a few days down.
He missed 1 point because he killed the motor.
That's right. That's right. Guys come out from the pit crew, from pit lane, to help Jimmy get refired. The Herzog Motorsports crew jumping into action there.
One thing about that crew, Howie Letto leads that crew, but they also brought on board Paul Chrisman, who was Mike Garvey's crew chief of a year ago, so a lot of experience on the 44 team.
Sorry about that.
Johnson's back up through the gearbox. We take a look at the inside of the 44 car.
Try doing a cop stop, but you need
Show it to you one more time. As Johnson worked through 3 and 4. This is Ricky Johnson with Brandon Sperling and Jack Landis. Jimmy going high. Remember, that car doesn't have brakes. I suspect he just went in there a little too quickly. Nice car control to keep it gathered up.
He did a great job, but that's a couple times I've seen him in the outside groove, and I suppose they have something to do with brakes, but I can't believe you could run around here lap after lap without hitting anything with no brakes.
Well, maybe they were able to fix it, but remember on pit road, they had to catch the car. He brought it in twice and had to roll around a second time because they couldn't get the car stopped. So we'll have to check that out and see if, in fact, Johnson was able to restore some braking power to the 44 car under a pit stop. We'll show it to you from Jimmy's onboard camera now. How thrilling is something like this?
Oh, he just had to dodge to the right. He was either going to bang the 07 or
the wall.
Or the wall.
That did sound there as though he had some brake power because you could hear him squeal the tires. He got the car spun and woed down in the right direction. So Johnson with a nice save to keep the car off the wall.
When he started running ASA, Jimmy Johnson last year really had limited stock car experience. His crew chief told me today, he said, you know what, I thought about it a year ago. I knew I had a good driver because he spun 5 times in the season opener and didn't hit anything. So he thought he had a good one, and I think Jimmy's proving again today that he can spin and continue on without too much damage.
Part of being a good driver is knowing what to do when things go wrong, right, Butch?
Yeah, I guess so, and he just proved the point. Although I wasn't sure about that move going backwards down the straightaway. I still haven't quite figured that one out. How do you find reverse gear going that fast?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure you could do that in one of these cars so quickly.
Ask Joey Chipman. I think he's got a handle on that.
Okay. He wrote the manual, I would say. 12 laps remaining. We are under caution. Remember, the last 5 have to be under green. We're going to stay here until the conclusion today at DeSoto Speedway in Bradenton, Florida. Our next broadcast of the ASA AC-Delco Challenge Series coming up on Saturday night, May the 1st, 10 o'clock Eastern Time from Nashville Speedway, USA in Nashville, Tennessee. We hope you can be with us. Beebe will have the restart pole. Sauter will be behind him in the 9 car. Then Garvey in the Lefebvre number 1. Hoffman and Don Finetti's 5. Ricky Johnson in the 22 has run a very patient race today. That's the other Herzog Chevrolet. And he sits 5th on this restart. For a true rookie in this series, that is an awfully impressive run. He has stayed out of trouble. He has been very consistent. He's passed cars when he could pass them today. I've kept an eye on him and hasn't taken anything that wasn't there.
And Ricky is a past late model champion at Cajon Speedway in California, so he does have some stock car pavement experience, but not a lot and none in this kind of series.
1 till the green, the signal coming down from the flag stand. So we'll go green again on lap 291. There'll be 9 laps remaining for Rick Beebe. This is it. Tim Sauter, Mike Garvey, Eddie Hoffman. If anybody has designs on going to victory lane today other than Beebe, they need to show their hand right now. As we are live on TNN Motorsports, Beebe takes him slowly into 3 and 4. To the restart on lap 291. Beebe by a car length over Sauter. Garvey in the 1 car, a couple of car lengths further back, and Beebe stretches it just a little. What's going through your mind, Butch Miller? You're leading with less than 10 to go.
Well, you've got to protect the bottom, and it's not. You feel a lot better when you've got a car length or 2 to spare. We got a little trouble over in 3 and 4 again. Car spinning.
He gets off the racetrack though. That's one of the Pizzano machines, and the green will stay out. It's Alan Pizzano in the 39 who's had some problems this afternoon. Still green, no change up front. Beebe and Sauter are 1 and 2. They will lap by the wounded car of Gary St. Amand, who has really hung tough today with a very adverse set of circumstances. Cut tire and a caution. The 2 of Chad Wood goes around. Wood has lost the remaining front body work off that car now. And That is the third or fourth time that machine has been in trouble here today. He's also got rear bodywork damage, so I would think that would end his afternoon here.
This is a terrible thing. If you're BB right now, this is a terrible thing to have happen, because just about the time you start feeling comfortable, you don't have any traffic in front of you, and you think, okay, I can win this thing, all of a sudden you have a yellow and they're right back on your bumper again.
He'll close things up. Lap 294 goes on the board. Next trip around will be 295, and with that 5 green rule, we'll hold at 295 and they'll take the green, with 5 more laps of green flag racing to be run here this afternoon. And we're told the black flag has been shown to Mike Miller. Boy, a great afternoon has just gone downhill quickly for the 2-time season opening winner. Trying for 3 straight today. Miller was in command not very long ago, but now he's being black flagged.
Well, I believe it's for a position on the racetrack.
Jump the restart, yeah.
He was sneaking up there a little bit. You know, I watched him before the green came out.
Now that's a veteran trick.
Well, yeah. And you know, he's doing the right thing, because he'll get away with that more times than he'll get caught.
Gamesmanship on the short tracks. You've got to love it. Well, if they showed up the black flag, he has not gone onto pit road as yet.
Scoring has been frozen. However, with him circling, even at this pace, they can pull his scorecard. So it's very important for him to at least make a stop and go on pit lane.
Gary St. Amant takes advantage with scoring holding at lap 295 here. You can get a free pit stop. You won't lose a lap now with 5 to go, and St. Amant being several laps down, back in 13th position. ASA Race Control, they're going to put Mike Miller back behind Dupuy's 11 car, and that's the only penalty he will get out of this. He'll be put back where he is supposed to be for the restart. So Chad Wood brings the 2 car onto pit road. Rick Beebe will again be the restart leader. 1 to go till green. Beebe and Sauter, Garvey and Hoffman, Ricky Johnson.
Charge that corner so hard, and 1 and 2.
And then the 40 of Brandon Sperling. The lap car of Jack Landis is next in line. You're on board with Ken Alexander, the Grease Lightning machine.
Be ready.
Alexander has soldiered on today. He's fought back through a lot of adversity. And he is up to 10th spot. Now he's 7 laps down, but he has driven a nice race to stay up and get himself into a possible top 10 finish. Green flag. Here's the battle for the lead. This will be lap 296. Beebe in the 23-year leader. The 9 of Sauter is second. 4 laps to go. Sauter looks low. Can't do it. Garvey in third, about another car length back. Hoffman is fourth. Sauter right up on the back bumper of Beebe. Butch, where would you try a move here?
Well, that's got to be where when
caution on the speedway. Trouble again in turn 3 and 4.
All right, we're getting a crash here. Caution's out.
Ken Alexander spinning, running in 10th, as you mentioned, Rick. It almost has to be a victory to come home in one piece as a rookie in your first ASA race.
But he may not get to do that. There's damage to the left front corner of the car. Alexander brings the car down onto pit road to the attention of his crew. So we hold at lap 297.
All day. I don't stop on there. The car wouldn't hold. It just speeded up when I went off down in there.
Alexander talking on the radio
when they go back green. You think you can drive it for about 3 laps? But you got to do something to it. What can you do? Spend a lot of steering stuff, and if we can run like 3 laps when they go green. Yeah, we'll be in the way.
Alexander saying we're going to be in the way if we try to go back out there with 3 to go. Safety car coming in. We're going to go green here next time around. There's 3 laps remaining. And we'll show it to you quickly one more time before Beebe comes to the stripe. Alexander,
there you go.
Yeah, Alexander getting up high, coming off of 4. And that's been a tough spot today. Jimmy Johnson spun there just a moment ago. Ready to go green. 3 laps of racing remaining. Beebe, Sauter, and the 1 of Garvey down into turn 1. Beebe trying to hold it low. Sauter looks underneath him and can't do it. 2 laps remaining. This time by Dan Spence has the 2 flags in hand. 2 to go.
it's going to happen, it's going to happen going into the...
Oh, Beebe's lips high. He's got a cut tire.
Oh, no.
Beebe Beebe gets out of shape and in the wall. That will cost him the race. Sauter grabs the lead, and it may bring out yet another caution. Well, I guess not. Beebe is able to stay out. The white flag is flying.
To race around that tire in the middle of the backstretch.
He peeled the right front tire right off the rim. Tim Sauter now with Mike Garvey. Sauter nails the tire. Wild finish here at DeSoto. Sauter will come to the stripe. The checkered flag will wave, and Tim Sauter is your winner. Sauter in car number 9 takes the victory. Garvey gets second. There's the tire that came off of Beebe's machine. Rick Beebe loses the race with 2 to go when he loses the right front tire of the 23 car, and Tim Sauter is there to score the win. There you see the shredded rubber, the shredded rim that Beebe is riding on. He comes around to take the checkered flag. Beebe scored back an 8th spot on 3 wheels. Sauter is your winner. What a wild way to close the 1999 ASA AC-Delco Challenge Series season opener. Wow.
What a finish. I love this ASA racing.
I'll tell you, it was in doubt up until the final few seconds here today. Looked like Rick Beebe was going to cruise home. Sauter's there to cash in when Beebe has tire failure on the right front corner. Tim Sauter cuts the celebratory donut down the main straightaway, and he'll come down to victory lane. Show it to you one more time. Rick Beebe leading on the restart with 2 laps remaining. And look at that. He went right into the outside wall coming off of 4.
I missed that on the restart. Oh, my.
Now, we saw Tristan Dupuis spin off of turn 4. Did he maybe get on the gas too soon? Beebe maybe wanting to distance himself, knowing turn 1 is the passing point, trying to get away from Sauter.
Hard to say. Maybe the tire was going away at that point, and maybe that kicked him into the wall. We'll have to try to find out for you. Meantime, victory lane. Tim Sauter is about to climb out of his machine to the applause of his Build-A-Mold Trimplas crew. Take a look at that tire. That's the rubber that came off the 23 car. It almost cost Sauter there because he clipped it down the backstretch.
If you would have hit that maybe with the front of the car, the center of the car, who knows what could have happened. But the last 50 laps certainly gave you your money's worth here at DeSoto.
I don't think he pulled his foot out of the gas, though, when he hit that thing.
And good news, all the damage that was done to the race cars here today, our camera in the infield apparently lives. Tim Sauter out of the race car, ready to grab the trophy. Put the hats on in victory lane and talk to our Brian Drummond.
Tell him to take that piece of tape off his ear.
Okay, guys, up in the booth, I'm with Tim Sauter. Tim, I think might characterize this as a lot of hard work and a little good luck.
A lot of hard work, a lot of good luck. Something we don't have very often, but man, we've been trying hard. All the last couple of years, we've been up and down. I know I can drive. I know this team can do it. It's the first win for AP Performance, Alec Pinsino, Build-A-Mold, Trimplas, Moldplas. Weir Chevrolet helping me out this year. Larry, I told you I'd win one for you. I want to say hi to my wife and kids back home. Sorry you couldn't be here.
Tim, how big were your eyes going up into turn 1 up there when you saw Rick heading up towards the wall?
Well, the last yellow, our last restart, I seen Rick was getting loose. And the way he started a little high, got loose and tagged the wall. I was just waiting for a hole, you know, without boogering him up too bad.
Congratulations. A great run for you and a great way to open the season.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you.
Guys.
Great victory for Tim Sauter in car number 9 today, and it doesn't get any more exciting than that, gentlemen.
Certainly was great. Last year we saw the closest finish in the season. Now we saw one of the most exciting finishes ASA has seen in a number of years. All the drama playing out in the last 50 or so laps.
We thought Rick Beebe had this one sewed up, Butch.
I thought it was his race, and unfortunately, it didn't work out that way.
Take a look at the top 10. Tim Sauter, your winner. Mike Garvey scores second. Eddie Hoffman's rookie ride begins with a third. Then Ricky Johnson, another first-year driver. Mike Miller comes back for 5th. Brandon Sperling. Tristan Dupuis, a first-year driver with a very nice run to 7th. Rick Beebe has scored 8th. Jack Landis came back from that early mishap when he went 4 laps down to clip off 9th. And Jimmy Johnson gets 10th. And there you see Beebe's machine. Tough way to lose one. Wheel gone, tire gone from the car, and Beebe finishes on 3 wheels. What a way to finish the season opener for the ASA AC-Delco Challenge Series here at DeSoto Speedway. Two-way communications equipment for the AC-Delco Challenge Series is provided by Racing Electronics, the official communications of American Speed Association. ASA Racing is produced for television by Silver Fox Sports in Charlotte, North Carolina. ExperienceCountry.com, your personal source for all things country. For Brian Trevor, Jim Trado, Butch Miller, I'm Rick Benjamin. Thanks for watching on TNN Motorsports. We'll see you next Sunday at 11 o'clock Eastern and Pacific on Race Day.